Well, Kevin Warren that came out and stirred the pot some more in Chicago. He did somewhat doubled down on our current quarterback and said he liked what he's seeing from Justin. Hey, we gonna see what we talking about and see how much pull Kevin Warren really got. We also got the Bulls. Just do I'm gonna pose the question because I at one time I didn't like hearing it, but I'm gonna pose the question. Should we blow it up? Shouldn't we have blown it up before? Should we wait? We waited a little bit too long. Shouldn't we have blown it up? And finally, what the hell is going on with Cody Bellinger? Are the Cubs going to get him? And if they don't, what are the future for the Cubs? Hey, it's Chi-Town Sports Central. It's your host Stevo. We got Hayes, C Dub, Kel, Bobby. Hey, let's get straight into it. After the music, though.
Hey, that intro hard as hell, bro.
Hey, that bitch always hit every single
808
Want to
just
time.
hit.
start spitting,
Nah,
boy,
nah,
real quick.
nah, for real. But hey, welcome back to another roundtable discussion on Chi-Town Sports Central. It's your host, Stevo. Hey, we back in. We gonna go straight into it, but we gonna start with baseball a little bit. Now, we all know it's not having been that quiet, but it's been a fairly quiet off season for the Chicago Cubbies. And they're kind of in a weird little space of where they're gonna be. But there's one dude they've been waiting for. One dude they've been waiting for, one person they've been waiting to sign, and that's Cody Bellinger. I'm hearing that they feel like without him, there is no chance of them being a real contender. And if they do, they have a shot to become a legit contender in the MLB. But as I just got a couple minutes ago, it sounds like they, according to the GM, they haven't even started talking to him.
It's
No numbers, no nothing. But
according to the
clarify,
owner.
Cal?
According
Owner.
to the owner, Tom Ricketts, he is saying that he's staying out of the conversation because he feels as though Scott Boras is usually the type to try to pressure owners into taking what he want. And the Cubs, they don't have a strong history with Scott Boras clients. In the
Right.
last decade, they've only re-signed Scott Boras clients to 1-year deals, nothing more than that. But what bothers me the most about all of this is that one, they haven't been even negotiating. Like they've had discussions, but they haven't negotiated any numbers, which is telling. Like spring training starts in a couple of days, the season starts in a few weeks. That's not a good thing. Two, he's starting to sound like Jerry Reinsdorf. He's talking about he don't want to go into the luxury tax, and they can be a good team without having the
Another
highest play.
terrible. Oh,
They could be a good team without having the highest paid players and so on and so forth. But so here's the thing. The only positive that I can take from this situation is one, they did go get a couple of players, Michael Bush, Neris, who's a strong out of the bullpen, and Imanaga was like the third best
Yeah,
Japanese
that's
player
nice.
behind Otani and what was his name? Yamamoto. But
Yamamoto, yeah.
Craig Counsell has been I think I look at Craig Counsell as like the Tom Thibodeau of baseball, of Major League Baseball. He can get the maximum effort from players that you never even heard of. He had the Milwaukee Brewers contending in the NL Central every single season without top tier players. So that's the only positive. But at the end of the day, the Cubs go as Bellinger goes, at least right now before the season starts. We know the numbers last season. He batted over 300. He hit 26 home runs. He stole bases. He played center field. He played first base. We know that he's a utility guy, and they need him. So they need to stop playing games and go out there and take care of business.
can I ask you a question? You said something about luxury tax. I
hmm
thought there was no salary cap in baseball. You got to educate
So
me.
so there's no salary cap, but what it's called is the competitive balance tax. And the Cubs are right now sitting at about $200 million. So the higher they go, the more money they spend, and they end up getting. So that's what the luxury tax is the competitive balance tax. But what you're looking at is like the Yankees and the Dodgers and all of them. They don't care about that type of stuff. So they
Yeah,
paying extra money to have the best teams out there to perform at a World Series level every single year. The Cubs
that's
seem
Wow.
like
I
they're
was
not
just
really willing to do that. Go
and
ahead.
I was just about to say, like, when it comes to baseball, you almost got it. That's one sport you honestly got to pay to play. And especially if you want a consistent team, like if you want to, especially if you want to build a dynasty, or you can't, you damn nigga don't have to care about the money. Like you just gotta know I'm going to win, and that's going where my income is going to come from. You can't worry
Well,
about all that.
what Ricketts and Hoyer are doing right now, though, is they basically playing in our faces because Ricketts today, he was like, oh, you look at the Arizona Diamondbacks, they didn't have a high payroll, but they made the playoffs. Or you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, they don't have a high payroll, and they always winning in their division, so on and so forth. But the reality is, those are more anomalies than the rule. They're more exceptions. So I can't sit back and say, well, one team did it, so we should be able to do it too. You saw what Bellinger brought to the table. You don't got to give him a 7-year contract, but at least make sure that he's back in the Cubs uniform when the season starts.
And
I
that's
feel
one
that.
thing why we need to stop playing around with these Chicago sports teams, man. Like you want to go ahead and be you want to win games, or we just go settle for being competitive.
Mhm. But that's why I'm about to ask y'all, like, how did from a Chicago fan as me, just being a Chicago sportsman, how does it feel to hear another owner coming in sounding like the same old thing? I'm gonna go to Hayes. 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 Oh, go ahead, see the.
Okay, how does it feel to be a Chicago fan and hearing the same old song from all the different owners? That's what you mean, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
basically.
I'm gonna have to say it just feels regular. I mean, I don't feel jealous of any other city. It just is what it is. I've been living through this all my life. What else I'm expecting? You know, we get at times after times, 85 Bears, 2006 White Sox, I think it was,
Yep.
5 or 6, one of
Five,
those White
6, yes.
Sox, and the Chicago Bulls more often than any other team in the city, but it is what it is, big dog.
Hey, you sing the same old song I'm singing, like to be honest, because I was born into it. So it's like that's all I know.
That's it.
All you know
Hey,
is
same.
mediocrity, bro. That's
I've never rooted for a team that's not a Chicago team. Like, period. My whole life, I had it. Like, so
Yeah.
I'd say this: it gets tiring when you know Chicago is one of the biggest markets in the world, not just the America, in the world. And our owners treat it like we fucking playing in North Dakota, bro. Like, it's disappointing. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm used to it. I don't get upset by it anymore. There was a period of time in my life there where I used to get really frustrated and pissed off anytime that the money, the salary, the luxury tax conversation came up. But now at this point, it is what it is. If you want to have a great team in the city of Chicago, that's why GMs are so important in Chicago. You have to draft extremely well. You have to.
Mhm.
Free agents don't come here because we don't spend a lot of money. That's almost across the
yes.
board. Not universally. There are some teams in Chicago that do get free agents, but typically that doesn't happen. So that puts the priority on drafting. You will not see a Chicago team probably win a championship in any of the major sports unless at least 30% of that roster was drafted to that team. You just won't see it.
That
Yeah.
is unbelievably true. Because when you look at all the past championships, we free agency, you look at ain't no free agents, they all homegrown. So that
Or
is
they were trades.
absolutely
Like those
true.
those Chicago Bulls teams had a lot of trades,
Now,
including
in the
Scottie
second
Pippen. It's
half,
kind of
They had the
overlooked.
generational like it's easy to do trades then after you have fucking Mike here and then you got Scotty locked into a damn
Right.
360 deal that he should have never been signed to. Like
Right. Come on,
that was the
man.
And
first
then,
Goofy
hey,
man
that was the
deal.
San
first
Antonio
NBA
just gave us
360 contract.
San
Bruh.
Antonio gave us Dennis Rodman. It was like, we'll take Will Purdue. We
Bro.
appreciate it. What I'll say, Steve-O, about the Chicago. First of all, what you said, Hayes, that you've never rooted for another team. The only time I root for other teams was like the NBA. The early 2000s, I rooted for that Sacramento team with Mike Bibby and White Chocolate and Vlade Divac, Chris Webber, and them. I really liked that team. I was salty when the referees cheated them against the Lakers in the Western Conference
Most
Finals.
definitely did.
But I digress. As a Chicago fan, it is very disappointing, especially raising sons. Like I have 2 sons, and my oldest son is like, man, if I ever see a Chicago team win a championship, I'm just gonna lose my mind. Like he is so desperate to see success. He's only 13. So I can imagine what Steve-O is going
That's
through.
where we had it at
And Bob
coming up.
and Bobby, yeah, you guys are just watching mediocrity. So it sucks that I never got to see it with the Bears, but I got to see the White Sox. I got to see the Bulls. We got to see the Blackhawks, which was the last dynasty that we had in Chicago. But we're thirsty. We're thirsty for success, and it's time. Y'all talking about new stadiums, but y'all not putting out a good product. Bears and the White Sox.
Right? How both of the most pitiful franchises that we had over the past 2 years is the main ones talking about, I want a new stadium. Let's get this new stadium. Let's put it on the lakefront, motherfucker.
Now,
And they want
granted, though, the Bears are long overdue for a new stadium. The Bears should have had a new stadium 25 years ago.
facts.
Yeah, but
So-
they decided to it's a national
Remodel.
monument, and we gonna put a spaceship on top of this motherfucker and make it even more uglier than it already is. But I digress. It is what it is when it comes with these. So I'm sorry. I don't have no topic for the White Sox because the White Sox being the White Sox, they ain't talking about shit.
Well,
but
wait.
that damn thing.
We didn't talk about Brian Shaw's return, though, right?
Oh, how
do got
we
that.
did. So we got Brian Shaw did make a return. How do y'all feel about that?
Who made a return?
Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw.
The basketball from the Lakers.
No, Brian
No.
Shaw for the White Sox.
Bro.
The right-handed
Baseball,
reliever.
man.
He's 36 years old. This is supposed to be your sport.
I mean, I didn't hear about that.
You're right, Steve.
Yeah, he re-signed yesterday with the he's coming back. They announced that he's coming back yesterday.
Okay,
Oh,
because I know that Hendricks left and went to Boston. That's the last thing I had heard about White Sox players.
Yeah,
But
really.
they ain't been
Well,
on
shout
that.
out to the White Sox.
And they
No,
say-
I didn't get to that.
They say the quotations, he's competing with an edge, whatever the hell that means.
At 36 years old, we gonna see.
I'm
We
saying,
gonna see.
but hey, I mean, it's a good signing because we did lose a lot in the bullpen. So I mean, it's nice to get at least a little something back. But this like, it ain't making a big dent. It's not a big dent, nothing. It like just like how all of them skipped over. It's a skip over type of thing. So it is what it is. Like. We're gonna move on because I don't want to dwell about this motherfucking team because they make me depressed. So we're gonna move over to the other. Well, we're gonna stay in the West Side about that. We're gonna go to the West Side and we're gonna talk about the doggone Chicago Bulls. And we just ended the All-Star break. We're going we have our first game, I believe, Thursday. We pretty much know what this team is. We pretty much been knowing what this team is. And quite frankly, over the All-Star break, to me, I just had a whole realization. And I was just like, even though I'm liking what I'm seeing from Kobe, even though I'm liking what I'm seeing from Ayo, do we just say F it and just completely blow it up, trade everybody, and see if we could go find us a guy in the next few years and start building around them? Because don't get me wrong, I'm definitely liking the development of Kobe White. I really am. But at the end of the day, even if I'm looking at the peak of what he can be, I don't know if that's somebody we can truly build behind and be our guy. Now, it can change. I'm not saying he's incapable of doing it, but I'm just saying if I'm looking at it from a realistic, like for him to become that guy, I'm pretty sure for all of us, it would shock us. So to me, I like him, but I feel like in order to do this correctly and not constantly keep falling into the same trouble we've been doing, it's just time to go in a certain direction and just completely blow it up. But that's just me. I'm gonna throw it to Bobby first. How you feel on that topic?
First of all, I like the way you brought it in. You said some good shit. I ain't gonna lie. But me, you talking about blowing it up sooner. Me, I kind of thought about that when you posed the question to it, but I like to look at it as what's happening right now. It's kind of like that phase out period. You know, when you go somewhere and they be like, hey, we're gonna grandfather those people in. That's how I'm looking at this. Because to be honest with you, we're covering the Chicago Bulls and jumping on live calls and making sure we pop in and out of post games and doing that. I don't want to watch a team that's winning 9 games, bro. A team that's winning 11 games, bro. So
True.
I'm gonna take, and it's not the best way to look at it, but I'm gonna take the competitive Bulls versus the trash cans, the bottom of the dumpster Chicago Bulls in sake of hoping that we're gonna find the guy. Me personally, I've been saying it for a while now. I believe the Bulls got 5 young players that you can see what you can do with this, and you can let the other guys phase the hell out. You can let the Nikola Vucevic phase out. You can let the DeMar DeRozan phase out, and then you can just add and let these guys, the young 5 guys that you have, receive that veteran presence that they need so they can develop as NBA players. So when those young guys come in, they all can grow together. So that's how I look at it.
See that?
When you said blow it up, I was definitely not in favor with that. I'm more in line with my nephew and saying that it's time to usher out the old and let these new young players get out there and spread their wings. Because we're starting to finally see growth from particular players. Even Dalen Terry's, we starting to see Dalen Terry on a regular come out there and do some great plays for the Chicago Bulls. We want to see more from Julian Phillips. I like Adama Sanogo, who actually played in an all-star game, the one Chicago player.
Did he?
He played in the G
He
League
did
All-Star
the
game.
G League All-Star game,
He did.
bro. Yes. Shout out to Adama. Let's go.
Shout out to he represented.
First of all, that don't even count. That event wasn't televised. You could only watch it on the G League's website.
I know,
Come on,
bro.
Yo, y'all stop killing Adama, man.
Look,
No,
his
listen,
his mama
Dama
was happy.
Sanogo is killing it in the
His
G.
mama was happy.
Listen, the Dama Sanogo is legitimately going to be in G League MVP conversation if the Windy City Bulls keep winning.
Damn,
So
we
no
got
shout,
more.
no slight to
No,
Dama Sanogo,
it's just
but I'm just
crazy.
saying, hey, bro, hey, listen, you know, I'm not, I don't do the PC. I'm not the modern day person. I don't do participation trophies. My nigga, you made it to the All-Star weekend on an event that 5 people watch. I just went and looked it up
You
on the
fell
G
asleep
League
on the real game.
the G League YouTube channel. That motherfucker, how you a professionally televised thing and you got less views than what my YouTube video got? This video's gonna get more views than the G League next up game.
That's fucked up. But hey, quick question before we let C-Dub continue. Would you rather watch the NBA All-Star game, the legit game, or watch the Notebook? The fuck you talking
The
about?
Notebook.
The Notebook
At
is
least there's some good
goated.
acting in the Notebook.
So
At least there's some
nobody
good
cared
acting in that
about the
shit.
real thing either.
The
It's
Notebook
crazy.
is goated, man. Watch your mouth.
No,
Bro,
I
I
will
can't
watch
drink
the
no
Notebook.
water
That's what
around
I'm
y'all
saying. It's
ass,
better than a
bro.
damn All-Star
It's
game. But
great,
finish,
phenomenal.
C-Dub,
The
my
book was
bad.
great too.
Yeah, but I was just saying it'll probably be best. I probably thought about this a couple years ago, especially last year. It's time to usher out the old and bring in the new blood, bro. And I think they started to do this. It's a transition. I think they starting to do that, even though I think they got other plans that I don't even want to talk about right now. But let's start with the young players, bro.
Yeah.
So
Save me for last because you know I'm about to cook.
the question that you asked was, should we have blown it up sooner? And the answer is yes. The Bulls, if we're talking about as soon as this season, the first sooner should have been what Zach LaVine said he wants to be traded, and they didn't do it. If we're talking about a couple of seasons ago, the second they realized that Lonzo Ball was done, they should have started making moves. Re-signing Vucevic was like, it was necessary because there weren't any big men out there that could replace his productivity, but they could have moved on from him too. And they're not likely to move on from DeRozan. They're going to probably extend him because it seems like AK.
Oh my
That'd be
God.
terrible.
It seems like these guys are hell bent on trying to make this work. And I heard that y'all correct me on this. I thought I heard somewhere that Eversley might be in line for another job
Bye. You stink anyway.
with Charlotte or something like that.
Yeah, he's one of the favorites to land the president of basketball operations job with Charlotte.
So should they have blown
Makes
things
sense.
up sooner? Yes.
Now
they should.
watch he go there and cook, and we find out AK was the actual problem, not Mark Eversley.
We need to find out which one it
Charlotte
is.
needs somebody to cook because it's been forever. But at the end of the day, we should have blown it up sooner. They didn't, so now it's time. Move on from DeRozan. Find a package
Please.
for Vucevic in this offseason. Let these young guys eat. Because if we're gonna watch a team go out there and underperform, because the Bulls are sitting at 26 and 29 right now, fellas. They're 5 or 4.5 games out of the 6th spot. But you think about just this season, not the last few, because it's happened over the last few seasons of the games that they've lost that they should have won. Like at least 5 or 6 of them. The Golden State game, for one, is the game that they just gave away. The last Orlando game that they played, they just gave away. All the overtime games. They played the most overtime games in the league, and it's not even close. It's not even close. So they just can't get over the hump. This team is just a middle of the pack team that can't figure out how to close. And another thing, move on from the coach too. Giving him this secret contract still bothers me to this day. I'm not gonna keep going, but it's just irritating to watch this good old boys approach that the Bulls have, as if those 6 championships from 30 years ago are still viable today.
To me, they are.
All right.
All right. First up, should they? Here's the thing that I'm going to say with this. It's going to happen one way or another, because I heard Kevin say that they're going to probably the Bulls are so close up to the luxury tax they can't re-sign DeMar, Patrick, bring back Drummond, sign any free agents. Somebody's going to have to go this offseason just by the nature of it. Now, could they work something out if they get rid of Lonzo Ball's contract? That's a possibility. Maybe they then, but either everybody's going to take a little bit less money to keep this team together, or major changes happen. Now, as far as blowing it all up, they've told us, I'm somebody who I believe once somebody tells you who they are, you believe them. They're not blowing this team completely up. And even with Kobe, I understand while Kobe's contract is low, if they were to try to move Kobe, they can probably get back 2 first-round picks unprotected for Kobe right now. But keep in mind, this team we can talk about they should move on from Billy. I agree with all those things. They not. And what makes Billy Donovan's system look the best? When you have a point guard playing at a high level. Kobe's play here has not only locked in the fact that Billy Donovan ain't going nowhere, but Kobe ain't going nowhere either. This team isn't going full rebuild. The best thing that this team could possibly do this season is finally invest. And that's the thing that full rebuild, whatever. I don't care about that. Like I said, Denver never technically went full rebuild. They never won less than, I think, 32 games. Cool. It is what it is. That's the model AK's bringing is cool. But you got to develop these young players. And we can't keep holding the development back of these young players for these aging veterans that we are not going to – you can re-sign DeMar DeRozan to a 20-year contract. We ain't going to win a title in that time. Get over it. It's not. You got to move the fuck on. That's the type of thing that I want to see from this team. I'm not worried about a full rebuild, but we need a major retooling. And AK's fear of taking a step back for a couple of years to ultimately take a long-term step forward, that's what's holding this team back. And until he accepts that, we're going to stay in this mediocrity, bro. We might as well deal it. We're going to be fighting for the 9th seed in the play-in for the next 3 years, bro.
Tell me
What's the chances that you think they try to sign this guy to
an
I don't
extension?
want to say an extension, not DeRozan, to an extension or to another contract starting next season? What would that do to the fan base? I know that it wouldn't hurt the regular casual fans, but to us who cover the Bulls all the time, what would you think about that?
I'd be pissed.
I think it will cause an uproar because at this point you're being delusional. You're being very delusional. You're not being real with yourself. This shit ain't working. I don't care. Go ahead.
They're past delusional, Stevo. These guys is like that band Moke and Steph back in the day with this song called "He's Mine." You might have had him once, but I got him all the time. You delusional, my guy. Let DeRozan go. Move forward. Get over it.
When that come out? The 50s?
The 90s.
Stop it.
That's how you know that. That's how you know that was C-Dub old. He do the 90s. He can't. He left school early just to get that.
That motherfucker chuckled. Young buck.
They passed delusional already, bro.
Yeah, but my fear is we just gonna end up keeping this team. We in 5 years gonna look like the fucking Nets.
Ain't no way we keeping the same team in 5 years. They are
no.
retired.
I mean the young people. I don't have
the young people.
I don't have much faith in the young core. I just don't.
No.
Here's a question I want to throw to you guys. Well, okay, I want to stay on that point for a second. You say you don't have much faith in the young guys. Let me ask you this: do you not have much faith in them because you have it? Because who don't you? Because Kobe and Io to me have shown that they're legit. They can
that's
contribute
literally
to the
it.
team. So, but nobody else has really gotten an opportunity. Dalen Terry still, the minutes that Dalen Terry's played is still less than what rookies have played this year. Like he has not played that many minutes Julian, we haven't seen. Adama Sanogo's killing it down in the G League. I'm not saying he's going to do that at the NBA level, but I do think that these guys have shown a level of promise. I think that now that we have a player development department, you didn't have that before. Now this is your time. Next season is the time for us to really see what we got in these young guys, because with the Bulls not having a whole bunch of luxury tax, room on the luxury tax, unless you're going to be signing a bunch of vet minimum guys, you're going to have to. Adama Sanogo's on a less than $1.5 million contract. Julian Phillips is on what? I think he signed a really big contract for an undrafted rookie, but I think he's still making like $2 million a year. These are guys you're going to have to use because you just don't have money to replace anybody in your rotation. I think next year's the time where we can really see what we have in those other guys. They just haven't played a lot.
Haize, I thought Phillips was the one we drafted and Sanogo was an undrafted rookie.
I did say
I thought Phillips was the one we moved into the
Adama Sanogo was undrafted. Phillips we traded up. He signed it. So second round picks aren't attributed to the same sliding scale as first round picks. And they gave him a nice size contract. I think they gave him 2 guaranteed years, and most second round picks don't get that. If I said undrafted, that's my bad. So
go ahead.
It just with me, like to me, like I said, I'm starting to have like this realization. Like to me, like I'm just seeing you for what you are right now. Like I can understand the promise, but I feel like, especially in the NBA, it's a game of windows, and I feel like sometimes when you're put in this in the wrong situation and you're with the wrong coach, that can kind of stifle you for years to come. And I just feel like, okay, the Julius feeling, like, to me, the Julius feeling, it goes way longer before even he got to the league. To me, it was the college choice plus the injuries and all that type of other stuff. And now that he's on this team, that he's not going to get the right tick he needs until everybody's gone, but they're still playing this game of we want to be competitive. Well, motherfucker, you're not going to see what you got out of him, so you're messing up the window. Just like I feel like Pat is that window is starting to slide where, okay, he could possibly be this. Just when I say I don't have the faith out of all these guys, even though I like Kobe Ayo, if I have faith in them being that guy, I just don't believe nobody would end up being that even close to that guy. That's just me.
Wow. Okay. Are you basing that on coaching?
It's not even coaching. It's just like, to me, for one, that guy is just like, that's top 5. So like everybody's not going to be that guy anyway.
What type of qualities do you think Kobe White is missing? Because I definitely think he could be that guy.
I just
consistency. That's not a good argument.
I mean, he's been consistent.
I mean, it's more. He don't have the. I don't think he has the mentality.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait.
That's not fair.
Now, mentality isn't the thing that I doubt.
No.
Let me ask y'all a question.
Listen, when I say mentality, I mean that guy mentality. He don't have that guy mentality. Like people, most people just have it. You can see it. Like Ben Mathurin, I think is that guy. I have confidence that he's that guy. Not saying Kobe is not going to be. He could be a great ass too. I just don't think he has the mentality because he just never showed me that from high school or college.
Have you seen getting into it? Like, listen, this is the dude who just got into it when Max Strus was getting in his face and just stood there and smiled. Like, he's developing.
That ain't mentality. That's just,
how's that not mentality?
That's not you backing down. That's what that
mentality.
Is.
That's a mentality.
Mentality is. No, after I'm getting my ass whooped and I'm going to go into the offseason and even work even more on my game. So this deficiency that I have,
that's the only reason he got here is because he worked in the offseason.
He put in the work.
It's still it has to be there from the beginning. It's like
it doesn't have to be there from the beginning. Players can develop that mentality is because of your role.
I get that, but that don't normally happen. That's an anomaly. Like Kawhi, that don't happen. People that just gain that over time, that normally don't happen. You usually got it or you don't.
Did you see Kobe
I'm not saying
Kobe Bryant's rookie year.
I get all that, but Kobe was
Kobe's
that motherfucker the next year.
He was 8, 9, 10 years.
Right, Kobe was that motherfucker year 2. So like that's not really a good comparison. Like
is Okay.
But
I
I
think
think this is a different generation. I think we are seeing it. Like Steph had to develop into that. Steph didn't have the killer Steph
Yeah.
mentality until year 4 or 5. Steph
Yeah,
Steph
After he
had
got
that.
past the
Yeah.
but
injuries for
it's a little
sure.
Yeah.
different because the
Because
game
he
was
had it in
different.
college though,
He had-
Hayes.
it was
Steph had it in
different
college.
because he couldn't be the Steph that he was at first because he was around a certain system, and they had to realize, all right, this dude's special.
And he was
It
hurt a
took
lot.
him a minute to grow, yeah, and injuries as well. But he
Yeah.
had the game was a little bit different. Now, like, let me say this: I'm not saying Kobe can't be that guy, but I'm just saying, no, 9 times out of 10, by now you know if he gonna be that guy, and I
Well,
just
let's
don't think he's
Well,
gonna
I
be
think,
it.
but see, that's the thing. I think we're past that. I think we're seeing players developing well into their careers now. Like I think we're seeing more Chauncey Billups now than what we are Kobe Bryant. Meaning that there's a lot more players that aren't really developing to year 5 and 6 nowadays. To where they're, but even with that said, like even not taking away from how you feel about the mentality, I don't look at it as Kobe necessarily has to be the guy. Just like when you look at the Derrick Rose Bulls, we had a team full of good guys, and Dang, Kurt Heinrich, Ben Gordon, all those guys. And so you build a base, but then when you get that guy, we have players that are going to be able to fit around them, and I think that's the Bulls' hope right now. Even if Kobe doesn't develop into that guy, if you
I
do
think
get
that's
lucky
fair.
and you find that guy in the next couple of years, guess what? They're going to come into a situation to where at least the first couple of years you got Kobe who's being Kobe, and then as that new player transitions to being that guy, now you have a solid base all up and down that roster.
Agreed.
It's just hard to keep. I think it's just hard to keep somebody of Kobe's talent and try to find that guy. It's very hard to do that. Usually, when you find that guy, you give up your best guy.
I mean,
Okay.
And that's
you
my
got to
whole like,
draft well.
and that's my thing. Like my thing is like, because even me, even thinking that way, I'm not confident because this team hasn't shown me they could go find a damn guy either. So like, I'm not saying that in full confidence either. Like, you could go to Kobe way and it could work. You could go the build out way because AK hasn't really shown that he can really build a team at this point. Nor
Not
has
with
he
the
really
Bulls.
shown that he could be successful and add to a team. So it's like at this time, I don't know what they can do. It's really this regime. At this point, you might need to look at firing.
See, I gotta disagree with they can't build a team. I think they built a great team. Their audible was just terrible. They couldn't rebound from it
Yeah.
and save their
There
life.
was no
But
audible.
that's
Yeah.
the problem. That's what I'm saying. If you can't build a good team, you can't build a good team if you
Bro,
didn't do no audible. You gotta make
they
audibles.
No,
they
they
looked
built
at
a
the
good
Blitz.
team
No, they
without doing
built
the
a great
audible. They
team.
can't
They was number
sustain
one
it. Now,
in the
the
East.
thing is that hopefully, if you do that now with younger players, you're not running into you're not going to run into your point guard getting a career-ending injury. Damn near. Let's hope that
Yeah,
that's the case, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah, I
go
So
ahead,
mean,
Kev.
Yeah.
yeah,
it's just I get where Stevo's coming from. It's hard to have faith in the Chicago Bulls. It's just hard, regardless of who we talking about. Kobe, Io, DeRozan. It's just difficult to have faith. I mentioned inconsistency because this is the first season that Kobe has shown me that okay,
yeah. It's been like a
he
steady line.
Yeah.
right, and even in this season, he still he still has his passive aggressive moments, and I know it's easy to do that with DeMar DeRozan on the team. You get tired, you ain't got to be that guy. I'm gonna pass the Debo and chill, but I I want to see this again next season from Kobe because this is the first season where he's averaged this many points, this many minutes, so on and so forth.
Facts.
Can you run it back? Can you run it
Yeah.
back? And then I'll have a stronger
This is a real
outlook
test.
on Kobe.
Yeah.
That's fair.
This is
Because
a real test.
especially if they don't bring back
Theory. Yeah.
DeMar, because now they're game planning for you. Right, the
Mm-hmm.
whole
Mhm.
offseason, and now it's going to be teams like, and we've already seen Kobe have those moments like
Yeah.
where teams kind of come in game plan for him, and it takes him almost into the
The
third,
second
fourth
half.
quarter
Third
to
quarter,
really
yep.
get going. So, how he adjusts to that, his mentality, and then next season, if we do let DeMar go or whatever else, or even without DeMar, I think even if DeMar does come back, Kobe's the guy next season until he proves that he's not. Now, if he starts off slow, then
Yeah.
Billy Donovan's going to do that. So defenses are going to be coming in like, all right, bet. Let's not let Kobe White beat us. And how he adjusted that is going to be the biggest part in all that.
Agreed.
For sure. Yeah, I like, and that's my thing. I feel like to test his mental, this is the year. We gonna see if he can be. If we see any of that guy in him, this the year where we gonna see it
I
because
hate
he's
to say
gonna.
this, Steve-O. I hate to say this. But the Bulls got a chance to make their way out the play-in. They still got one of the easiest records for the
that
rest of the
schedule
season.
looking
Oh,
Hold on,
crazy.
not that
not
first
even
10
more.
games.
Oh no, they
Listen,
Not that.
don't.
That
No,
schedule
they
we-
play the
look
Clippers.
crazy.
They go on a West Coast trip and they playing teams.
So not even to talk about it in the road, Cam. Just kind of, we got 27 games left. Out of those 27 games, 14 of those games are against either playoff or play-in teams. First of all, like I get it that our strength of schedule isn't listed as the toughest, but just go over
That
this.
shit
Over the
tough.
last 27 games, we got 2 games against Boston, 1 game against Minnesota, 1 game against Cleveland, 2 games against the Clippers, 1 game against Milwaukee, 3 games
Bro.
against the Knicks
to end the season.
to end the
You know-
season.
And this was
Hey,
I guess that's what bothers me the most, Stevo, real quick, is that the January to the All-Star break was the easy part of their schedule then, right? We talked about
Mhm.
this
Be
before.
whooping.
But technically,
And
it wasn't.
they didn't capitalize. They were
Yeah.
losing by 1-2, losing in overtime,
Yeah.
blowing double-digit leads, just like they've been doing the last couple of seasons. And they still only 5 games out of a guaranteed playoff spot. And the point that I was going to make is that now it's time for Kobe to make his bones and will this team to at least, the 7 or 8 seed, not the 9 or 10, the 7 or 8 seed, hopefully the 6 seed. I'd like to
Oh
see it,
shit!
but we're gonna see. This is your chance. If
You
you the
gonna
guy,
judge that young man?
no,
Did
I'm
you
not
see
judging
that
him.
schedule right
Bro,
there?
I'm not judging him. I'm saying this is his chance to go out there
Oh,
and make his
goodness.
bones with or without the schedule. That's just what it is. Like the schedule is what the
He up
schedule
against
is.
it in that
If you
schedule.
are the guy, go out there and give me some wins. Let's not blow these leads. Hit these game-winning shots. At least we saw Billy Donovan start to allow Kobe to take some last-second shots as opposed to just going to DeRozan. It wasn't that many, like 1 or 2, but
He
it is
just
what it is.
started. It was the last couple games.
Let's get it, man.
Oh, for real.
27 games to go. I want to see the Bulls go out there and leave it all on the floor. And they do it. They play up and down the competition as usual.
Let's
Let me
go.
ask you guys, one last Bulls question. I know we got to get into the Bears too. One last Bulls question before we get off this. Heading into this draft, keep in mind this is supposed to be a weaker draft. Are you looking at best talent available? Are you looking at a talent that getting maybe a young big that can run with Kobe? What do you guys think the Bulls' mindset should be? Again, keep in mind this draft is supposed to be weaker in this draft.
I've
Best
been
talent available.
asking. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Steve.
was going. That's all I gotta say. Best talent available. Go ahead.
I've been saying this for the last 3 years, and people say I've been hating on Vooch. We need us a young athletic big. I'm sorry. We need a young athletic big. We need to feel like how it feels to have a good defensive big man under the basket, bro.
Who can run the
Starting
floor
big
too?
man, and that can run the floor.
Well,
and
there's
catch
not many of
lobs.
them in this draft, unfortunately.
It
There's
ain't.
really not. Now, if the Bulls had a second round pick, there are some really good the prospects though, athletic sitters, because Khalil Ware in that second round, that's the guy who probably fits what you just said. There are not a lot of those guys in the first round of this
Bro,
draft.
we
Not
need
a single.
something different.
Yeah, because I'm going best available. Because y'all, I feel like best available. You could have had Walker Kessler up in the Bulls uniform.
Oh my goodness, we would have
I'm
been
right there with
solved.
the.
But
with
we
the
gotta take what
majority.
we
Dude is second in the league in blocks right now, and he would be
Bro.
leading the league for blocks if it wasn't for Wemby.
That's what I'm saying. Then C
Listen.
Dub like, you gotta take him. No,
You got to.
I'm going with
We
the
was
rest
like,
of the
who is
field.
this guy?
Go ahead and go best available. And if that best available happens to be a knockdown shooter, that's a plus.
Okay.
I got 3 targets so far in this draft that I'm looking at. One of them is a shooter. Johnny Furpey, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Weird last name. The dude's 6'9" shooting guard. He's white. He can play. He's from Kansas. You know, last time we drafted the Kansas guard, we did pretty damn good.
Kurt
Amen.
I'm
Captain
looking also at Kyle Filipowski. This is a white center who can stretch the floor some. He can block some.
Okay.
And then last but not least, Terrence Shannon is another guy. The shooting guard, 6'6", out of Illinois. Could stay at the crib. Not from Chicago, though, but he could stay at the crib.
Not from Chicago.
Huh? He is from Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But then is he the one that has some legal issues?
Oh, he is from Chicago. You're right. IMG Academy.
He moved to Florida.
Okay, that's
yeah.
But this next to Kobe White, this dude is 6'7" with a 6'9" wingspan. He's a little raw shooting wise, but those are the guys.
He's an athlete. You can run.
Athlete.
He kind of, you know what he kind of remind me of? Maybe not the shooter he was, but he kind of he more of like a playmaking Kelly Oubre.
Okay.
playmaking
We
Kelly
could have had
Oubre.
Kelly Oubre this offseason, but
Oh, that's cold right there. I like how you
Yeah,
just
I like him.
because damn, Kelly
And he
Oubre
a
ain't never
lefty. He a
played
lefty,
made
right,
ever.
Kev? Right?
I think so. What did it say?
I think he a lefty.
Hayes. Is he a
I think
lefty?
he a lefty. I believe he a lefty.
Yeah, he is a lefty. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he nice. I remember. Yeah.
He is keeping Illinois relevant right now. So
And
that,
he an
that
older.
and the
He's an
thing I like
older
about him too
guard.
is he could have entered the draft 3 years ago. So like he's gonna come in and much like Io, you're probably gonna have your role carved out for him. He's gonna be able to contribute right away.
Oh,
him
so
and
he
Io
played
play
with
together?
Io. He
Did they
played
play
with
He played
Io
with
then.
Io.
Okay.
No, he
Well,
right after Io.
no,
could have.
he would have
He
been.
went to
I don't
Texas
think he
Tech.
played much. He would.
He
Yeah,
went
he
to
would have been
Texas
there.
Tech his freshman year.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to Texas Tech his freshman. He's supposed to go to Illinois with Uglab. With the first, he could have played 1 year with Io, but
Mm-hmm.
he thought he was one and done, but it didn't work out that way. I told y'all, like that video I dropped. Y'all need to start picking the right colleges. But hey, that's here the more than there. Now let's get straight into. Let's go by the lake. Let's talk about these old bears. Now we all know the big old interview that happened about almost a week ago. But it started a little storm in Chicago. They started a little storm, so I don't know who did it. I think WGN did the interview with Kevin Warren,
Sit
and
down.
to sit down with Kevin Warren, and I'm just gonna go straight into it. He talked about the stadium, what it's gonna take, what's the process of the new stadium. He kind of hinted that they're not only just looking at the Arlington Heights spot, they actually looking at 2 more. So it's 3 total spots they're looking at. And they're just he said he should know what we're doing. They should have a spot picked out and they should be ready to break ground very, very soon. That's just what he said. And he also said they're leaning towards to having a stadium somewhat like how Minnesota is. I forget what he calls the dome, but it's the dome where it looks like it's outside. The ESPV, something like
something like
that.
that.
That's what's called. Something like that. Which I would prefer over the retractable roof because, like most people said, I think that was a good detail he put in there. He was like, "There's no purpose of getting a roof that could close because you're just gonna close it. You just save him. You're gonna save money. So he's all about saving money. So he's gonna go that way. But we've been hearing that he might look more into the spot downtown still. He has a vision. And to me, based off of what he said, his vision is I want to see us win a championship and I want us to be next to that lake, next to downtown. I can see the pictures because he said that's something I think about when we making a stadium. It's the surrounding shots where they good when the helicopters
The
fly in,
aesthetic.
the aesthetic of the thing. So before we get into the big news, how y'all feel about the stadium talk?
Oh, I like the stadium talk. I would love it if we can find a way to keep it up in Chicago, especially on that lakefront. It's iconic when you think about the Chicago Bears. You think about that lake. You think about downtown Chicago. You think about the south side of Chicago as well. So I don't know how it feels to be a Arlington Heights Chicago Bear fan. I don't know that it sounds sort of weird to me. What Melrose Park, Chicago Bear. Just keep it Chicago. Do whatever you can to keep it in the city, big dog. Whatever you
I'm
can.
with you on that. You definitely got to keep it within the city if you can. I just hope that you can find a great location for it. It'll be best if it's within the city, and it'll be best, man. We don't want to go to Arlington Heights. No offense to the people from Arlington Heights, but we rather stay
Well,
downtown and rock with the
Now,
city.
offend them motherfuckers.
And they ain't trying
Arlington.
to get no tax relief either.
That's
So
what I was about to say. They already fumbling in
yeah,
the bag right now anyway.
Dumb as
Arlington
hell.
Heights
come
seem
on
like they
down to downtown Chicago.
I'm right there with the rest of you guys. I just want a stadium with enough seats for us to not be paying premium prices for a team that's not putting out a premium product. You can go to a game when the Bears have only won 4 games and it's week 16 and they still charge you 200-300 to sit where you want to sit. And I don't think it's right. And the only reason they do it is because they don't have enough seats to give you economy prices, as it were. So get wherever you put it, Arlington Heights, downtown, give us enough seats for the proletariat, the person that's just not making that type of bread. I want to be able to take my kids. I can't even take my kids to a Bears game because I can only buy one ticket. It's that expensive to go to a Bears
Stop
game.
acting like you're not rich, Kev. Like you don't get on here and cap.
Come
Like,
on,
bro.
gang.
Yapping his ass
Come
off.
on, bro. Like
Whether
all
it's premium,
you gotta do is stop buying so many steaks. Boom, you got a Bears ticket. My nigga eats steaks
Yeah,
like
I
they
was just about
motherfucking
to say that.
hamburger.
Big
Come on,
ass
bro.
briskets.
Exactly.
I
He got
buy every
Outback Steakhouse in his
Man,
backyard.
he be
I
that
buy
way
everything
with
on sale. Y'all tweaking. I got a
bro,
freezer full of
you
stuff
be
that I
having
buy on
personal
sale.
cookouts every weekend.
Oh, the real. Bro ass got
Everything
Outback
on
right in the
sale. I
back.
just got a budget for groceries. But at the end of the day, whether it's preseason or regular season, the Bears tickets cost way too much, and I don't think it's fair to fans because we love the team. It's a love-hate relationship, but we want to see them in person more often. So let's get this stadium situation taken care of ASAP, and do it before the White Sox steal your land. My God.
They could buy
Mm.
Arlington Heights.
I don't think the city of Chicago will let them
I mean,
steal the
technically,
Chicago Bears land.
they did
I'm about
buy
to say, we
Arlington
own,
Heights.
we
They
own
already bought it,
Arlington
didn't they?
Heights.
Right.
Yeah, we own Arlington Heights, so like they can do whatever they want to do with that.
Talking about the
And
White
that's
Sox.
another thing.
Sell it to the White Sox.
Oh, yeah, like y'all
Goodbye.
have to Arlington.
The reason I mentioned that, y'all, is because both teams are asking for public money. It's really a race to the finish line between the White Sox and the Bears. Which team is the city going to get behind to approve that money? Because you know how billionaires are. They don't want to spend their own money.
They're gonna it's the Bears. It's a Bears town. That's what I think.
All right, now let's get into the shit I don't want to talk about, but we got to. So he started a little storm. He came out and said, I am a supporter of Justin because I got a chance to work with him when I was commissioner for the Big Ten Conference. He's incredibly talented. He is smart. He works hard, and he wants to be a great football player. He needs to make sure that we need to make sure that he has support around him. He's working hard, and I would love for him this offseason to make sure he's totally healthy and going into next season. And it's a difficult game. He kept saying that more time. It's a difficult game. It is a different position to play. Justin has a rare combination of intelligence, speed, strength, and you forget how big he is and the man he is until you're up on and close to him. He's not small. So we like what he is. He's committed, and we would like him to be a Bear. Now, when that shit dropped, Chicago Bears Twitter went awry because they were like, "Oh, this is the president. How you gonna say that? I don't even know why y'all listen to the president. Y'all saying he ain't got no pool. He just talking."
Okay,
So
Bernie.
first of all, first of all, to them motherfuckers, I had to get on it because I'm tired of hearing that shit. He the goddamn president. Yes, he has say. If he says something about the team, yes, the football team, and he don't like it, he can say something and he could damn near veto, smoke, whatever he want that motherfucker.
Absolutely.
He can. So I'm tired of people saying, oh, he just talking. Y'all need to stop finding shit for y'all narratives. Because when it's another motherfucker saying the same thing, or he said this, but when it said, oh, it don't mean that much. Y'all do the same shit with people. Stop picking and choosing what fiction narrative. Take it from what they said at face value, and that's what they said. But after my little rant, what was y'all thoughts over his little thing about Justin?
Look
Steve,
here.
we can't. Go ahead.
Look here. I I agree with what you just said, Stevo, and that he is the president and he can veto whatever he wants. But in this case, I think he's just giving Ryan Poles his recommendation.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion. My recommend. I think he went to Ryan Poles, keep Justin Fields. That don't mean Ryan Poles is gonna pick Justin Fields as the quarterback for this. But guess what? There's going to be consequences if it doesn't work your way. And I told you that I like it this way.
I like that.
That's how I'm going.
That's
I like
exactly
that.
what it is. Go ahead, Cam.
I mean, I was gonna say that we can't take it for face value. It could be posturing. You know how it is. The number one pick is at stake. We're talking about something that can change an entire franchise. So, but I like what you just said, C-Dub. You got the big guy, the superintendent, as it were, the president coming in and putting his word in and saying, hey, this is how I feel. And we know that he has a relationship with Justin Fields. We know he went to his graduation and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, I still trust Ryan Poles. That's just how I feel about it. I respect Kevin Warren. I love to see a brother up at the top in the Bears organization as the president and CEO. It's a phenomenal thing to see. But at the end of the day, it's still a GM's decision. And I think some of the reason why this team is where it is because the GM didn't get to make certain decisions when he first got here, or he had other things in place like, hey, you can make the decision, but this is what we want, i.e. Eberflus. But at the end of the day, man, it's time for these guys to make a decision. I'm tired of waiting. I want to see what's happening, what's going on. Are we gonna have Justin Fields next season, or is it gonna be somebody else? Because a lot of us are just fixated on Caleb Williams. It could easily be Drake May. It could easily be the young man out of LSU or Penix out of Washington. So I just want to know what direction they're headed in. Stop leaving us in limbo. Just tell us what's happening. So Kevin Warren can say what he want to say, though.
Listen, Kevin Warren talked about what he feels about Justin, but he also in that same interview said that Ryan Poles is going over and he's sure that Ryan Poles is looking at all the options in the draft. Like Kevin Warren could have his leanings, and I think he's going to trust Ryan Poles to make the right decision. But I do think he is also talking to Ryan Poles about what he feels and kind of seeing where it laps at. Yeah, the thing is, all the people are saying, "Well, Kevin Warren shouldn't be making football decisions." If he came out and said, "I love Caleb Williams," the same motherfuckers be like, "Oh, listen, Kevin Warren said it. We're drafting Caleb Williams." Everybody, I've been telling you guys this on Bears Central for about a month now. Anybody who comes and says, "I know exactly what the Chicago Bears are doing," they fucking lying. They just lying.
How?
That's it.
Like how? How could anybody
That's
know
what I'm saying.
exactly what the Bears are doing?
How?
No.
My nigga, you don't even know what you eating like tomorrow for dinner. How you know what the Chicago Bears are doing with it?
Well, I got
Real
people in
though.
the media. I'm like, bro, they're saying the same things for both sides.
It's really the
If they're-
national media.
It's ugly. Don't nobody want to hear from you.
it's-
Like that's what I got to say about a lot of these national media
Yeah.
pundits.
That's
Bro,
it.
shut up.
The national
But-
media, they're going with the low hanging fruit. They know what's going to rile people up, and this is the most mercurial topic in all of sports right now. More than LeBron James, more than the Super Bowl. Now that the Super Bowl is over, it's what will the Bears do? I'm talking about. You got everybody talking about this. Everybody, nuns in the nunnery, talking about what the Bears should do.
He
So
ain't never.
it's time for them to make a decision, bro.
We
Everybody got an
done.
opinion on this. I swear to God, I be at work and there's people from all over the country that come in and say, "What are the Bears gonna do with Justin Fields?" I'm like, "Okay, little 8-year-old, go stand over there with your mama."
Not the 8-year-old, but look, man, it is what it is. I think that the whole thing is just gonna come down to what the Bears want, and if people gonna try to discredit Kevin Warren, I think they crazy. I think that is a partnership that he spoke on in that interview. Me and Ryan, we had to work on into the relationship that we have now, and I trust him. So you're gonna trust him, but I do got a question that's gonna be coming up. Free agency is about to start. Are free agents coming to play with Caleb Williams or Justin Fields? And what is going to be your answer? Because
Bobby.
that could be a determining factor. Because right here, we already said it. Well, no matter if you stand with Justin or you going with Caleb, we need to see playoffs or be right there knocking on the
Facts.
Yep.
Facts.
door. So what are those players going to come into? Those guys, if you want to go for the sake of discussion, you want to go into a Danielle Hunter, you want to come be a Chicago Bear? He want to win if he coming over to the Chicago Bears. So that's just something that you got to consider, man.
Real quick, Bobby, in what we've heard from former NFL players, current NFL players, versus what we've heard from pundits. NFL players like Justin Fields.
They do.
That's the temperature right now. They enjoy watching this guy. They believe that he has talent. They feel like he's been held back by the current regime, and other teams want Justin Fields. If Justin Fields wasn't good, you wouldn't even hear those national pundits saying things like, "Oh, if Justin Fields goes to Atlanta, there'll be a playoff team. If Justin Fields goes to this team, there'll be a playoff
Get a
team."
first round pick.
You feel me? So players and other coaches and so on and so forth have spoken on what they think Justin Fields is capable of, and free agents see it too.
All right.
Facts.
Yeah, man, but hopefully, like I said, I just hope they come to a conclusion. I'm
Let's
I'm
figure
done
it
with this whole conversation. Make a choice. Let's get this over with so we can go into the next year with a clear head and a clear mind and see what's going to happen. But yeah, anybody else got anything else?
That's it.
No, that's it,
Yeah.
man.
Well, it's been another episode of Chi-Town Sports. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, and most importantly, drop comments. We want to hear what y'all got to think about all the topics we talked about today. But like I said, it's been another episode from Bobby, C Dub, Hayes, Kev, and your host Stevo. See y'all next time.